father had cancer and died. And a year later, I got cancer, stage 4 cervical cancer. And I learned how to work with the cancer cells through energy. And, they told me that I need to take everything out of my uterus, and it was cervical cancer. He said, touch my robe. I looked down at the robe and I saw some sandals. I went, no, this couldn't be. This could not be. And he said, touch my robe. And I said, okay, I will touch your robe. And immediately I burst into tears.
Who'd you see that day? Today we will explore the world of holistic wellness. This is somebody whose journey from the dance floor to energy healing has been nothing short of remarkable. Through her innovative approach, the S.H.E.V.A method, which stands for Seeking Harmony in Energy, Voice, and Action. She has practiced this for over 20 years now. She blends practical and applicable techniques with a deep understanding of energetic harmony, guiding us towards a more balanced mind, body, and soul. She has studied under some of the brightest minds in the energy field, including luminaries such as Rosaline L. Briere. Her expertise spans meditation, psychic skills, and also teaching the Enneagram. Her book, Emergence, Reveal Your Essence, is about everything in life is like a dance of energy. And by understanding and working with that energy, we can feel better and achieve what we ultimately want in life, teaching us simple exercises and meditations to also help us connect with ourselves and the world around us. I welcome you, everybody, to Unwritten, Fran Bailey.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Been definitely an interesting journey, for sure. And it's something I just did not expect at all, but it happened. So I guess I'll give you my backstory a little bit of how it all began.
You can go ahead. Go ahead, tell me.
Well, I grew up in a metaphysical home, so meaning that we didn't believe in a lot of medicine. We believed in mind over matter. We believed that things could happen naturally, and so that was a really huge part of my spiritual makeup early on in life. So, and we had music and dance, and it was always, performing. My mom danced, my dad sang, and so I started dancing at the age of 5, very young.
Oh wow!
Trying to reach for the ballet bar, and couldn't, but was hooked. So from there, I was hooked in dance and studied dance for many years. Got a degree, studied anatomy, and choreographed, taught for many years dance, modern dance, and trained kind of all over and out west and New York City and etc. So anyway, short of it, I taught at a Montessori school, which is Montessori school for children, and one of the parents of the children was from South Africa and said that I could see energy. And I went, oh, okay, what's that? So he was an MD and starting an alternative center in Cincinnati. And he said, I want you to start training with Rosalind Briere. And I said, okay. So learned about energy, became an energy healer for 12 years, working for him, and went out on my own. Went into deep meditation, learned how to do chakra clearing and all kinds of stuff. And from there, I realized, oh, okay, I guess I've got some sort of ability here, because they kind of found me. I was very psychic as a child and really didn't know it, kind of ran away from it, So that was fascinating to sort of catch up with that and start using my skills. And I began to really use my skills when my father had cancer and died, and a year later I got cancer, stage 4 cervical cancer, and I learned how to work with the cancer cells through energy. And they told me that I need to take everything out of my uterus, and it was cervical cancer. So anyway, I said, well, you know what? I don't think I have to take everything out. I think I can start healing myself and work with the doctor, but I think I can really make a difference, which I did. And that's really basically a lot of where the method came from, where people can heal themselves. And that was the beginning. So, 2002, Shiva was channeled to me, and ever since then, I've been trying to figure out what the method is. So putting
Did
all
you
these,
create it, or
yeah, hmm
you created it?
hmm so the understanding I have about the body, because I'm very physical, so I know that everything
Yeah.
works through the body, even emotions, and that's kind of where I think I got cancer, because I was stressed and feeling, 3 kids, and husband was traveling and lost my father. I think it just impacts the body. Body doesn't lie. So um, basically, I put all my dance career together, my energy, understanding the body, and so teaching people about acupressure points, running energy on them, giving them detailed meditation skills is part of the method. And then, of course, the Enneagram is part of the understanding of the personality, because the personality that we kind of, how we navigate life through is always interesting. An Enneagram, either a head type, a body type, or a heart type. And this is analysis of personalities. So basically, I went through that
Yeah.
analysis myself so that I could be clearer about who I am and let the skills come forward, not my personality, so that I can channel without hanging on to the should, the have to, and the ought, because my personality is taking me a certain direction. So it's kind of a full picture.
Do you still dance?
Of course, when I can, but I love to
When
dance.
how'd you know you wanted to, I guess, just dance? You were always drawn to dancing as a young kid, you said.
Yeah, so music, I was very shy. And when I heard music, my body I just
Like
responded to
freed.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I felt that I could express myself without talking.
Oh, yeah.
So when I shared what I could explain through movement, through choreography, what I felt about how I navigate through the world, then it was an artistic expression.
Hmm.
And so from there, the creativity comes from a divine place. And I would call that creativity, art, healing is all very similar, because it comes from that really incredible non-judgmental place where you go into that
Yeah.
creative place.
It's like
And
you want to do it. It goes from a
right,
place
and
from things you want to do.
there's no stopping.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like there, and of course you're driven to do it. That's how I wrote the book, that's how I choreograph, that's how I decorate, that's how I live my life. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that once you start understanding that creative part of you,
Yeah.
that is really freedom. So
Mm.
that's what I stress, or not stress. I share with people that
Yeah.
yes, you have the ability to find that. And
So how do we find it?
how do we find it? You let go of lots of patterns.
Mm.
You let go of personality patterns. You meditate, go into the body, find the creative center in the second chakra. Start living in that place where a second chakra is emotions, boundaries, creativity, and sexuality, right? So there's all this openness with the second chakra, but then you touch the heart, and that's the divine, and then you get the intuition, and it's all three. Then you have the soul, the seat of the soul. When you start connecting with the soul, finding your purpose, and it's a win-win.
What is chakra?
Chakras are what they call psychic centers in the body, and they run along the spine. It's from a Hindu perspective of understanding, when our system or centers are off, then you meditate to clear them. So everything has a chakra system. It's almost like a spine. Everything has a system to run, and it runs from the first to the seventh. And each chakra has a meaning and a purpose. And then my book shares experiences, the meditation through the chakra system. So every chakra has a color. First chakra is fight or flight, where you sit. Second is emotions, creativity, sexuality, and boundaries, trying to find your boundaries, where the people you want to be with, the people that you don't want to be with, you have boundaries with. Third is the ego. So how do you see yourself? How do others see you? How do you look? How do you perceive yourself? Do you perceive yourself through another person's eyes? Or do you go deep inside yourself and say, no, this is who I am? Fourth chakra is love at the heart. Fifth is communication. Sixth is intuition, intellect, integrating all these chakras. Seventh is connection to the soul. So you ground in the first two, you stay in the grounded to the center of the earth, and then 3 to 7, you connect with the higher frequencies so that you can bring in that light.
What are some practices that we can do to stay more connected and aligned? Because when I think of chakras, I think of I think when people first hear chakra, they're like, okay, what is this woo woo energy chakra? I'm sure you've heard it throughout your career, but I believe chakra is just straight up just energy, like you just explained, energy from different sources of our body. And the way you explained it is like these energies are aligned like in a straight path, but I think most people may not have it aligned. It's like some's over here, some's over here. How do we, what are some practices that we can do to be more aligned with our chakra?
Well, meditation is number one. So on my website, FranBaileyHealer.com, there's a free meditation at the bottom, but it's in my book, this Emergence. So each page has color, which is the color of the chakras. Like, for instance, it's very, very. So anyway, you can get the book. You can find just any kind of meditation to keep you grounded, especially now. We have to stay grounded and present to our bodies to figure out how we navigate in these new energies, because there's so much coming at us. And if we don't clear, we just accumulate energy. Everything is energy. When you're not in flow, when you've got social media, or you've got problems with your family or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your parents or you know, all those things accumulate. So what's important is for you to stay
Yeah.
present to your energy. And so when you understand the flow, then these these things can come in and we can flow with it rather than,
Mm.
but it's always about flow, you know?
Uh, so what does that meditation like? What does that chakra meditation look like? Does it look like just sitting there, breathing? When you talk about dance, I feel like dancing for you is meditative, and I just because meditation is like in the personal development, self discovery world is I think people get it confused. I think meditation is just anything that keeps you grounded and more in tuned and present with yourself. And it doesn't have to just be just sitting there. But I think the best way for me is breath work and walking. Those are like the two most meditative things for me. So
Hmm.
what does the chakra meditation look like?
Well, a lot of us have trouble focusing when we say meditation. I don't have time to I don't, I can't focus. I can't because I go out of my body. This
Mm,
practice keeps you in your body. That's why, as a dancer, it was very hard for me to sit
mm,
and be quiet and be calm. But the more I actually went into the body, because it carries that energy to inside your body. I mean, your organs, your everything. And so this system that we carry around with us is incredibly brilliant. So
mm,
what this does, it helps you to have this inner dialogue. When you begin to understand, okay, that chakra is completely off. There's so much happening in my third chakra. Okay, I'm going to clear it because I'm being impacted. And so I'm going to clear that so that I can get back in alignment. So that's how you identify. It's
mm,
almost like you have a microscope inside your body so that you can actually um, experience alignment or misalignment, and you begin to feel it. So I'll give you an example. So I've learned how to meditate while walking, basically. So I'm walking, but I also,
mm,
at the same time, if I'm having an issue with a person or a situation, I will clear karma at the same time. And it's like that. And
what is karma?
karma. So let's say you've got a relationship with somebody, sister, brother, husband, wife, girlfriend, I don't know.
Yeah.
And you're having some um delicate issues with them or miscommunication with them. And it
Mm,
comes from the past, it comes from pattern relationships, it comes from, whatever. You can actually clear karma between them, between the two of you, and your relationship, your communication becomes clear because you're not
mm,
holding on to the pattern. So, for instance, as children, or if we have siblings,
mm.
we identify ourselves as the second child, the first child, the whatever.
Oh yeah.
And so we have that thing, right? So, um, if you want to clear up a conversation you might be having with a sibling, you can say, okay, I'm going to clear this energy. I'm going to put out in front of me like some discs or something to put that energy on and explode it while you're walking. But that takes skill, so you have to learn how to do that. But it's fascinating because then the conversation that you have with that person completely changes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how exactly
Well,
would
it
somebody do
takes.
that.
Well, it would have to be, you'd have to have a session with me, and I would teach you how to do
Okay.
that, and that kind of thing. I can't do it right now, but so I could tell you about your energy or share something that I'm observing. Then you can observe yourself in that situation. And so I just give you these tools. So the Shiva method is all about tools. You've got a whole bunch of tools to work with so that you can take it, and use it for yourself.
Yeah. So you started dancing, and then why did you even decide that Fran Bailey, I want to start healing and help other people heal?
Well, there's certain incidences that kept drawing me towards that. Like I would understand energy. I could see it in my dreams. I could see something about a person that I was working on, and it was true. Which kind of freaked me out. I said, okay, well, great. How am I going to explain that? So, basically, it was a path that was chosen for me, and that I had a choice. But basically, when I had a near-death experience at 12. I had a spiritual awakening then. Then at 19, they wanted to come in, and I wanted me to start this, whatever this was. Then in my 20s, they came again, or my guides, or what you call them, trying to get me to move into this path. Then I had 3 kids. Then I found Rosalind. I went, oh my God, they found me. And then it was over. I looked at her and I just said, okay, I know what I have to do now. So I will tell you what was the deciding point. And I don't really tell this very often, but I was in the studio, so I had a step studio in my house. I would teach dance and choreography and all that stuff in a small studio, and I would do my healing also. And so I was at this point where I was dancing and healing and dancing, and it was just in 3 kids, and I said, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to dance? Am I going to heal? Am I going to do both? So I'm in my studio, and I am sitting in a chair. My hands are like this. I'm in a meditation, and I'm going into some sort of higher plane. So I'm staying seated, and I understand that I'm asking this energy to come in and assist me. So do I heal, or do I dance, or do I do both? So my hands are like this on the chair. And a voice comes in and says, touch my robe. I went, no. He said, touch my robe. I looked down at the robe and I saw some sandals. I went, no, this couldn't be. This could not be. And he said, touch my robe. I said, okay, I will touch your robe. And immediately I burst into tears. The compassion that came out of this being was unbelievable. And he said, hold your hands up. And he put his hands on mine. And he said, you can dance. And he said, flip your hands over. I flipped mine over. His hands went underneath me. And you can heal. That was the deciding factor.
Who'd you see that day?
Who do you think? Exactly. Exactly.
I don't know.
I didn't
You
see.
tell me.
I didn't see.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, it was so obvious, and when I didn't. It was just the energy, and that's what it is. It's about compassion. It's about humbleness. It is stepping out of your own way. It is about love. And that's what it is. It's a frequency. Healing is a frequency.
So, at this point, did you, like, were you tired? Were you tired of it all? Or did you start to feel burnt out? Or...
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
the way you explained it, it was like you hit a crossroads and you could either focus most of your energy towards one or the other while you were doing it all. So how did you decide to do both and combine both?
So, having an artistic talent opens up the creativity in yourself, which is also the creative energy to heal. So one would beget the other. One would help the other. So so the understanding of art and healing is basically what this book is about. It's about art and the Leonardo da Vinci. I mean, look at him. What he studied the body, what he drew, what he created. He constantly, Einstein, these brilliant people. So I think it's all creation. And I have skills and I just use them. And I wanted to share them. And that was the whole point, is to share these skills, put it in a palpable method so that humans can use it for themselves. And that's the gift.
What is your vision for yourself and your service before you leave this human experience?
Just to continue sharing that I believe that I've been blessed and that we are all blessed. And I think that my purpose here is to continue to remind people that they're part of this, that they're part of nature, that they are nature, that they can flow with the elements of the earth. They can flow in these beautiful realms of how we can access energy. I just think that it's there. It's just we have to get past this, whatever this thing we're in. I think we're heading in a really good time. As hard as it is right now, I think we're passing through this really, really strange kind of wave of, where all the bad is coming up and all the good is coming up, but the good is there for the taking.
We're in the valley right now.
We're climbing. We're getting there. And so creating a bridge is I just want to create that bridge so that people can. There's many, many healers in the world that are doing this. It's not just me, but it's a motivation that we here have to understand that the world is changing for this purpose, and that purpose is to realize the energy of love.
Man, I agree so much because
Yeah.
I think, like, when you get into all of these, to me, it seems petty, like petty um, wars and like wars, a whole financial business, and then you get into politics and you get into pronouns and all these different things
Mm-hmm.
that I think just divides us even more. I mean, at the end of the day, it's something as simple as love and compassion that literally, like, it sounds cheesy, but it's true. It's true if people really like sit down with themselves and understand like what is love and what is compassion and how do we really feel it, how do we really spread it to other people. You would understand it's not cheesy. It's literally what wins. Love and compassion is what wins at the end of the day. If all
Mm-hmm.
these wars are over, if we make treaties and we forget about the pronouns and just see people as humans and we all have the same blood,
Mm-hmm.
what happens at the end? Love and compassion.
Always,
So, yeah, so
always.
it's, I don't know. I just want anybody listening to this to understand that, like, whatever you're going through in life, if you're grateful for it and you show up with compassion and spread it, you can get through anything, I think.
Absolutely.
So, my question to you is, what do you tell people who feel kind of lost? Like, they may lost and afraid. Like, they know kind of what direction they want to take in life, but they're kind of afraid to take that leap.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say to, life is not perfect. Life gives us situations that we need to go through in order to understand. You can't avoid those places because that's how you learn. Number
Mm.
one, don't apologize for the experiences that you're having. Every experience is sacred. Every experience is sacred, even the bad ones. Sometimes we get into these things and we fall into it and we don't know how. Who was that? Oh my God, but it's something you go through and it's something you pass through. I would say that if you have desire to change, that you start focusing on um, instead of becoming the fear, use a portion of the fear for an impetus to change. Meaning that, okay, I'm stepping into the fire and I'm going to push through this. I'm going to use that energy to get me to that other side.
Hmm.
We all have fear, but fear can be used as an energy to go forward. So what they say, face your fears, right?
Yeah.
Open that door. It's dark out there, but jump. So you jump. You can always come back. So the point is that it's a choice. It's a choice.
Hmm.
And a lot of times with my clients, I will say, well, we've gone through 3 sessions and now you're climbing the steps and there's a door and you can open the door and just stand there and decide, to leap into the unknown and be okay with the unknown, embrace the unknown, or you can shut the door. And it is your choice, and I have no judgment about it. None. How's that doing for you? How's that work?
Oh, I like
Makes
it.
it? Yeah. So it's basically, you know yourself the best. I
Yeah.
can't tell you what to do. I can just give you tools, and then you find your path.
Yeah. To me, I think of, especially when somebody feels lost, my go-to advice is just try everything. Like whatever you're afraid of, just try it. See where
Mm-hmm.
you go. Like imagine if you have like this wall of doors in front of you and you're interested in all of them. Open
Mm-hmm.
all of them. Open all of them and then close the ones as you go down the line, close the ones that you aren't aligned with anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
then keep going through the ones that you are aligned with, and you'll begin to find more of what you like, more of who you are, and
Mm-hmm.
more of your purpose, I think.
It's good. It's good. And I would add to that, trusting your instinct, trusting the energy in which you look at the energy of that, you look at that door and say, is that working for me? Boom. Yes or no.
Hmm.
So you're trusting your instinct, trusting your
Intuition.
intuition is huge. That's what I teach.
What about worthiness? You ever help people with trying to be worthy? Because
Mm-hmm.
let's say, I don't know, you want to make $1 million and you're doing all the things, you're working on it, but really deep down inside you don't feel worthy of it. How do you help people with that?
Well, I mean, I think that, it's like, okay, you want to walk that walk. So what is the discord? What are you thinking about money? How do you feel about money? Is that going to do everything for you? Or is it, if that is your desire, what's behind all that?
Hmm.
Money can go away like that, but your self-worth, can't buy it.
Yeah.
Can't buy it. I mean, there are so many people that are driven by money and driven by the image. And when that image goes away, what do they have left? They have
Yeah.
money and they have a big house, or they have all these things.
Man. Yeah. I think it's a big driver of ego as well.
All
Like,
ego.
there's this guy I used to follow. I still follow him on social media. And it's he made this post saying he told a story about when he was like on the come up or whatever, and he
Mm-hmm.
was broke, and now he makes so much money a month and he's living good, whatever. And man, it was just like you could feel the ego off of this.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, man, like that's like cool and everything. Like, yeah, it takes hard work, it takes whatever, like you do this, you have this specific morning routine, whatever. But like, what are you really doing this for? Like, are you doing it just for the money and just to like tell people, like, it is some form of inspiration, like, oh, I did it, like, I was broke, now you can do it. But then I think when you get so lost in it, and that ego shows up, you can get carried away with it,
Mm.
and it loses touch with the purpose that you were trying to make, I guess, when you first started.
Mm-hmm. You know, I say this to my children. I experienced this with myself. Um,
Mm.
you know, when you have a certain skill and, you basically, there was a point where I thought I was pretty special
Mm.
because I could see all this stuff. And, you know, the minute my ego came through, the minute I ran my ego on any kind
Yeah.
of project, any kind of healing, it never works. Never. So I learned very quickly, if I can't be real, if I can't be the guinea pig for my own method, then I shouldn't be talking and I shouldn't be healing. Because if I can't be humble, and even in this period of time in my life where, I'm getting some recognition, I
Mm.
that's great, but tomorrow's another day.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled to share and be in the moment, but the minute I think that, ooh, that's trouble.
Man, especially in this modern world, it's
Mm-hmm.
rough.
Mm-hmm.
It's rough. Like, I envision myself sometimes, like, any of my videos could go viral one day, and I make a lot of content. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be ready for that criticism, because no matter what you do, it can be the most holy, gracious, peace
Mm-hmm.
giving thing in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody is still gonna criticize you and
Oh, sure. They're
make a
gonna.
mockery of you.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, they're out there. Yeah, afraid so. And most of the time, they want what you have.
Hmm.
So, especially when you are so authentic, they like, well, wait, I want that.
Yeah. So let me bring him down.
Right. Like there are people that just, you're creating, you want your choreography, or you did a playlist to do a classroom, in a classroom, or they're entitled. They say, "Oh, I want that playlist."
Hmm.
It's like that's the hours and hours of work for a special workshop that well, I want that playlist. And it's just, to me, it's like entitlement. It drives me crazy. It's the only thing that really, really upsets me. Speaking of
Yeah, I was thinking.
negative,
Yeah, I was thinking earlier this week or last week about deserving.
mm-hmm.
Like, what do we really deserve in life? What do you think? What do you think we, like, were born deserving?
That's a very hard word.
Yeah, because it's
Energetic.
like you're
So
owed it,
really,
right? Like, you're
it's
not owed it,
really,
right?
no, we pick our parents. We pick our places. We pick where we're, you know, how we
Mm-hmm.
land, I think. And it's up to us to be accountable for our actions. it's up to us. And as far as deserving, no, I think the biggest lesson that I learned, and um, I was in college
Mm-hmm.
and studying dance, and I'd studied in New York, and then came back to Ohio and went to Ohio State. And I said, I don't want to be in Ohio. So at 19, I left and went to California and lived in what they called the Haight-Ashbury, which is a very famous in the 70s, excuse me, in the 70s, sort of a hippie place.
Yeah.
So my parents gave me no money. I had no money. I wanted to go out there and train as a modern dancer, and so I carried 2 jobs, lived on food stamps, understood really well what it meant to not have food. And deserving it was like, well, wait a minute. No, I mean, you have to earn it.
Mm.
You have to earn it. And I think that because of that experience, I grew up pretty fast and realized that,
Yeah.
oh, I think I need an education. And I went back and did,
I
got
need
my
to do
4 years.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's when I say that every experience is sacred. It is, because that was an experience that I'll never forget.
Yeah.
It taught me about grace. It taught me about asking the question, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
It taught me that if you want something, you have to work for it. You have to create it, and you've got to work for it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I try to practice gratitude every day.
Well, you're doing great.
Thank you, Fran.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything you'd like to cover before we move on?
I think we covered a lot.
Anything on your mind?
um, Not really. Just uh, most important thing is to try to enjoy the experience of life,
Hmm.
and really love passionately and with compassion, and it will always get you out of that funk.
Yeah, I appreciate every moment. That's
Mm-hmm.
something I've been telling myself recently.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate every moment.
Yeah. Good.
Well, we're gonna play this game. It's random.
Oh,
You
okay.
can you can skip a question if it's too kinky. There's some kinky ones in here, so
Oh,
you
okay.
can skip it if you want. Okay, that's one. And okay, share something out of character that I've always dreamt of being famous for. Share something out of character about I've always dreamt of being famous for.
Oh, um, probably a dancer or a singer, that was always had that dream, you know, um, just for a little while, just to see what that's like to be that famous.
Like a
But
famous dancer.
mhm, Yeah, to see what that's, and choreographer, and living that life of, where you're um, engrossed with your art and you're um, admired and
Like teaching like celebrities or something.
well, or just have your own company, dance company and
Yeah.
well known and that the creativity is just overwhelming and will always, you know, take you to the right place and perform in New York and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I think it led you to healing people, so that's
Mm.
still very good.
Well, I think that I knew there was something more, I just didn't know what. And
Hmm.
so, and the art world or the dance world, there's a lot of egos, and I just got so bored with it all. I got so bored. I just
Yeah.
said, I I can't do this. I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But when I was creating and teaching was great.
Hmm.
I love that.
What's your favorite dance?
You mean type of dance or I like it all.
Whatever.
I mean, I like modern, I like
What's your
ballet.
go-to? Like whenever something like your favorite
Oh,
song comes on, what's like your
soul,
go-to?
soul, rhythm. I've got a lot of rhythm. Um, I went to Bahia and studied African Brazilian or
Hmm.
yeah, Brazilian dance. And the rhythm that in live music in the room, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
We do Cuba and dance there, and I mean, this rhythms. It's all rhythms that I love. Um, so it just feeds my soul.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Well, Fran, my first question of my final four questions is, what is your biggest regret?
Mm. Um, that's a good question. Oh, yeah, there's a guy that I liked, and I never went forward with him.
Is
you
he
know,
like famous now or something? That's why it's
No,
your
I don't
biggest
know. I don't
regret.
know where he is, but it was in high school and it was so attractive but I couldn't focus. I was just like, I can't work. And I couldn't, it was a hard school and I wanted to graduate. And he was this over beautiful young boy. But anyway, of
Was that lust?
course. But I was too young to know. I mean, I was young and scared and, you know,
That's your biggest regret?
No, I think probably spending more time with my dad or my mom before they pass away.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would say that was, and I,
Bigger
yeah,
than the boy crush.
yeah, the boy crush.
My next question is, who or what has made the biggest impact in your life so far that makes you who you are today?
Oh, I would say my parents, number one, big impact. I would say Rosalind, and my two meditation teachers, Gloria Hampshire and John Friedland, are brilliant,
Hmm.
brilliant healers. All the experiences I had with working at alternative health, all those things. They all impacted where I am right now. Working with ADD people, working with cancer patients, so I'm grateful for all those things because I wouldn't have the knowledge that I have now if I hadn't done all that.
We kind of already covered this one, but your biggest lesson you said was when you moved and you had to fend for yourself.
Hmm.
I guess I'll ask another question then. What is the biggest adversity and challenge you had to overcome?
To believe in myself that 20 some years ago, I started on this path and I was made fun of. Um, I was made fun of as a child because in high school I started studying Carl Jung.
Yeah, I heard of him.
I think that I had to believe strongly in the path. So, and I did.
No, that's a big one because sometimes people don't believe you until you start really believing in yourself, and then it's like a then you become like a magnet.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
so and it's hard because sometimes you don't always believe in yourself.
Right.
So
And I think, especially with, 20 years ago, that was just unheard of. All these things that I experienced and couldn't tell anyone because no one would understand
yeah,
these visions, these things. So I just
yeah,
held it inside. And, but obviously it's paid off. And I think that, people, all this information is out there now, so it's not so scary and, all that stuff.
yeah. It's explainable now to people.
It is, and so I really have a lot of faith that people are learning very quickly, and so that's why the method's it's so easy to follow, and you can just open that window for yourself and access those that's parts of you, and
Mm,
have that ability to live a happier life without any doubt.
yeah, more peace.
Yeah.
The next question is, what would you do or experience in life if you had all the time and all the money in the world?
Just doing what I'm doing now. I know my purpose. I mean, I was certainly financially help the world, help. I mean, I do that anyway, or I give money away to, homeless. But if I could do anything, we change that,
Yeah,
change the violence, the misunderstanding around it. If I could change that, like all of us want to, then that would be, you know,
yeah, it's crazy. I was watching this show on Netflix about a prison. It's like a prison show where they like unlocked all the gates or something. And I didn't finish it, but I watched the first 3 episodes, and I just noticed a common denominator amongst all the
mm,
prisoners. They were all in there for like life and felonies, like
mm,
violence. I just noticed they were just all angry all the time. Like something in them is just so like just hurting so much that
mm-hmm,
and whatever narrative they were taught growing up is just like violence is the solution. Like let me just beat this dude up or let me whatever. That was like the common denominator amongst all these felonies.
mm-hmm,
I'm just like, why? Like anger is so exhausting to carry, and
mm-hmm,
I think once you learn how to let anger and frustration go, like really let it go, or like when you do feel it, just let it come and go like really fast.
Hmm.
You realize it's just so meaningless to be angry all the time and hold on to this exhausting energy. So it was just like, man, like what? That's the main thing. I was thinking to myself watching it, it was like, you don't let all these like killers out. Like, just play some like peaceful music or something. Like, play some like wusa like guided meditations in their cells
Hmm.
all day, where it starts to like reprogram their mind to think like peace instead of violence. And because they were stuck in these cells for 23 hours of the day, every day they would only come out for food, like two, like a lunch and a breakfast for 30
Hmm.
minutes and then go right back in for
Well, that
like
would drive.
caged animals.
Right.
Yeah, and that even made them even more frustrated. So it was like, man, I don't know.
Hmm.
It's
Well,
tough.
I think they're trying to. I mean, there's in Enneagram, there's what they call an Enneagram project, and they go into the prison projects, and there's
Mm,
lots of that going on where they go in and study the personality function, dysfunction,
yeah.
and learn about what not to do and how to move out of it.
Yeah,
And
well,
so,
what started to happen was they started to build some sort of hierarchy, like
uh,
oh, we're the everybody has to listen to the elders and you just follow the rules, and then
well,
that
sounds
didn't
like
work
what we're
out.
doing. Sounds like I mean, that's all falling. It'll fall.
Yeah.
It'll fall. So,
Well,
well,
Fran,
this has been
is there
great.
anything you'd like to promote before we sign off?
Well, my website, franbaileyhealer.com. I've got my book, my pre-meditation. You can do one-on-one sessions with me. I usually do like a package of 3 to kind of to get you up and running, and that's a really good. I'm pretty fast and pretty clear. And then, there's meditations to buy. There's media things in there, and there's a whole bunch of tools that you can look at to help you move forward. So I do Zoom, I do one-on-one in my personal. I even do energy healing, meditation, Enneagram. So I could do an Enneagram session with you and see what type you are, so you can understand your personalities. There's all kinds of goodies in there you can find.
Yeah. Is there any last thing you'd like to leave the audience with to resonate?
Just study who you are. Make it a project to figure out who you are, what your purpose is, and make that a goal.
Mm-hmm.
And do it through love and humor is what I can tell you. You got to laugh at ourselves.
Yeah, don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, I mean,
It makes it worse.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it harder, I think.
Right.
Well, everybody, go check her out, Fran Bailey. And as always, stay curious, keep going. You got this, guys. Peace.
Thank you.